Kenneth Oppel is a Governor General's award-winning author whose books have sold millions of copies worldwide. Kenneth is here with a preview of Thrive, the thrilling conclusion to his national best-selling Bloom trilogy. A story that the Wall Street Journal called so exciting that the pages might well have been printed with adrenaline.
Hello everyone. One of the things I get asked most frequently as a writer is, where do you get your ideas? And I think some people actually imagine that ideas are hard to come by, that they're very rare elements in the human experience that have to be mined or filtered through the air. But I think they're one of the most common things that we have as human beings. And I'm pretty sure that everyone I'm talking to right now has dozens, if not hundreds of ideas every day. You might not even recognize them as ideas. You might call them weird thoughts or dumb questions that just move through your head like weather. One of the things I do as a writer is when I get one of these weird questions or dumb thoughts, I write it down in one of my ideas notebooks. Because if I don't, I will forget. And one of the ways I know it's a good idea is if I keep going back to it, if it keeps attracting me, like some gravitational force, and I keep asking questions about it and answering those questions. And so it's like throwing a rock in a pond, you get that nice plop and the ripples radiate out. And that's really how a story takes shape. In the case of my Bloom trilogy, I was given the idea as a gift from my eldest daughter, who had a tremendous nightmare. And when I say tremendous, I mean incredibly terrifying and great material for a story. In her dream, she is outside and it rains very heavily. And she wants to get somewhere safe for cover. And she realizes that it is not raindrops falling all around her. They are tiny little eggs, and they're starting to hatch, releasing terrible, creepy, crawly creatures. So she's obviously terrified. She runs for shelter. She sees a bridge up ahead. And when she gets underneath the bridge, she sees the biggest egg of all, hatching to release an even larger, creepy, crawly creature that's eating another human being. When I heard this dream, I thought, I have to have it. It's amazing. I can see it happening before my eyes. So I took it, and it formed not one book, but actually three, because I backed my daughter's nightmare up a bit and imagined a story in which, after a huge deluge on Salt Spring Island, off the coast of BC, very strange plants begin taking over the island. They're carnivorous, they grow into houses, they eat small animals, they grow underground, and wait for prey, including humans. And my three teenage heroes spend most of the book battling these terrifying plants, trying to figure out how to kill them, and trying to figure out where they come from. In the second book, I did use explicitly my daughter's dream. And given the title, a lot of things are going to hatch. And so I had the opportunity to create all sorts of fabulous, creepy, crawly creatures. One of the things I love to do in my books is create creatures. If you're familiar with some of my other stories, you know I've written about bats and things called cloud cats. And in this book, these three books, Bloom, Hatch, and Thrive, I get to create a lot of new creatures. And in the third and final book, after first seeing an invasion of plants and then an invasion of creatures, in Thrive, the latest book in the series, you get to meet who is responsible for sending all these terrible things down on our planet. I'm just going to read you a tiny little bit from the book, because my three heroes, they all have very different reactions when they finally meet what I call the cryptogens, these new species that have crossed the universe to Earth. You're going to hear what Petra thinks when she first sees one of the cryptogens. Petra hated it instantly. The head that jutted from its weird white bodysuit was long and sloping like an alligator's, maybe a dolphin's if she was being super kind. Its eyes were set way back. She couldn't see ears. Its long feet had webbed toes. From its rear end curled a long tail. When its mouth opened, Petra saw sharp teeth. Like the runner cryptogen, the swimmer had a mask fixed over its nostrils, which were slit like holes in front of its eyes. When its gaze locked with hers, Petra looked away. She didn't want to talk to it. She was scared its words would appear inside her head. Her eyes darted between the three cryptogen species. She remembered those pictures in Seth's sketchbook, the ones he'd shown them long ago, his dream creatures from another world. She'd hated them then, but seeing the real creatures now right in front of her, that was a different thing altogether. She caught herself stepping backward. She shared half her DNA with these things. She didn't want to look at them. She didn't want to be like them. Was this what awaited her? The webbed feet, walking on all fours? Would her body one day flip down to the ground and she'd scuttle around trying to hide her sharp teeth? Every muscle in her body was telling her to run. So as I said, Thrive is the culmination of my Bloom trilogy, and you finally get to meet who is responsible for all that terrible rain. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the Bloom books. Bye for now.
Why not upload your writing, your videos, and your ideas to the Creativity Club on the Telling Tales website? Thank you for joining us. See you again.